So there's so many sort of like intersections
Mm-hmm.
with the different like career paths. So that's why if people who are wondering why am I interviewing like all these randos, that's why.
I'm not
So,
a rando. Come on now.
you're not a rando at all. But it's like people like, why is so and so? I'm like, well, that's the reason why. You know? So
No, for real. Working in silos never led to anything revolutionary.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's that simple. And
Yeah.
to your earlier point, one thing you noted was about us being from like more collectivist cultures.
Right.
That what you're saying, and understanding that people not only need to work across industries, but need to work in a way that they bring something back to their families and communities.
Yeah.
That's our culture.
Yep.
So that's culturally responsive education. And it's a part of culturally responsive education that people are not even considering, which is why they're given some whack advice.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk about after Susie Becky like gave you the advice to do sociology. What did you do after that?
So I immediately picked a second major that would give me some job security.
Okay.
So I knew that I wanted any position I would be in, I would have a social impact lens. So I knew I wanted to be in some sort of public service.
Okay.
I came across a program called Health Informatics and Health Management.
Okay.
So, which is tech, guys.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, okay, well, if I can work my way up on the business end of healthcare, because I can't stand to see blood. You got a rash, I don't want to touch it. I'm one of those, unfortunately, which again is why
You're realist. You're realist,
And that's why, I love our healthcare workers, and I know I need them because I don't have that skill. But I'm a great organizational leader.
Yeah.
And I could foresee that even at that age. So I said, okay, well, I could really do some good work in the healthcare space.
Yeah.
And my first project that I did, again, just like hindsight is 2020, was going to Ethiopia and working at Dr. Ambassa Hospital, the Black Lion Hospital.
Okay.
And so I've always, like, my knee jerk has always been to go back home, come to the States, work here, work there. And here I am doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't intentional. It's just I saw an opportunity to do so.
Gotcha.
So I got a second major before graduating. In health informatics and health management.
Okay.
And upon heading out, there was this organization called Teach for America.
Yeah.
And they were on me like white on rice. I'm not even going to lie. I don't even know who told me about them on campus, but they found me and they were not going to let me go.
Yeah, they were relentless.
They were not. They were like, you need to apply.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like an interview where we're supposed to teach about like persuasive writing. Mm-hmm. And I went up there, and the funny thing is I didn't know if I wanted to be an educator.
Yeah.
But I knew that it was a great opportunity, and it probably could lead to things that were outside of like my consciousness at the time. So what's the worst? I'm going to go ahead and apply.
Yeah.
If they offer it to me, then I'll assess my options forward. I'd rather put an extra option on the table than dismiss it just because I'm unclear. So I applied. I didn't even take it too seriously because I just viewed it as an option. Mm-hmm. I go up there and in my interview, I use, I do a lesson on persuasive writing around whether Lil Wayne was the best rapper alive.
Okay.
Because at that time, he was always saying, I'm the best rapper alive.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Aging myself a bit, but yeah. So I was like, okay. So today class, because we had a role play, I was like, today class, we are going to be discussing whether or not Lil Wayne is the best rapper alive.
Okay.
They were so entertained.
Yeah.
And I went through the lesson, and afterwards they came up to me and they were like, you're a natural educator. Like, you need to take this seriously.
That's awesome.
And that was the start of me actually looking into education.
That's dope. That's dope. Okay. All right. So, I'm trying to think how I want to like phrase this question. What was your experience like, I guess, before I even go there with Teach for America, like in terms of being a Black woman, immigrant, from Africa, you're working for this program that I won't necessarily say, because I've had my views on Teach for America through not just like my experience not working there, but also being recruited, I guess, but then also individuals who work there as well. It's, you learn a lot, but there's also a lot of expectations and a lot of like assumptions about what to do and how certain things are done with certain populations. But what was your experience like? Because I don't want to project.
No, I want to hear your experience too. We're going to talk.
Okay.
So my experience is that like in the first couple months, there's the boot camp, right? So you did Teach for America?
No. So I got asked to do it right after military because I was in the reserve. So I asked if I got asked if I wanted to join, and I asked about the whole structure and all that other jazz. And then they made some assumptions about like where I would want to go, things. I'm like, well, no, who told you these things? But that was my experience. My friends, Amy and a few others who've been part of the program said that a lot of things in terms of like the curriculums and some things that the way that they laid it out, it just wasn't conducive to the individuals that they were being taught. So that was, it wasn't necessarily shocking, but it was like for the people who run the programs, it didn't shock me because like, if you're not there on a, consistent basis, I can see how you can make those assumptions about how to teach certain things and from a cultural implication, how that's just, it doesn't make sense. So that was like my, I guess, what's the word? Secondary smoker type experience.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called, but basically like my secondary experience through others' lived experiences. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on it, though.
So I'll lead with, I have mixed reviews.
Okay.
So, but I'll lead with what I really liked, which I thought was a universal TFA experience, but it isn't apparently. When we got in, I didn't have an education background, so we go through the summer boot camp. It was so intense. It was so intense, and they played no games. I mean, we had to wake up early in the morning and go through our training, lesson plan for ourselves. Like people were staying up well into the night, redrafting lesson plans, like to the point where by the end of the summer, you were going to know how to write your own lesson plan. Forget an established curriculum for you. You knew how to lesson plan and you knew how to make it responsive to the kids in your classroom. It was so intense. Like people were lacking sleep because they would review it and bounce it back if it wasn't good enough. There was nothing laid back about the process. So, and I stuck to it as hard as it was because I viewed it as them truly valuing the students. You got to be careful with them. I need to hurry up and catch up to the level of educator they deserve. And that's how I perceived it. Right. I later found out, so shout out to TFA Metro Atlanta, because there are people in other cities that were like, that was not my experience. I was like, they played no games with us. They were strict and just expected a level of excellence.
That's good.
That said, I think it is such a beautiful thing when you recruit the right people. Not everyone with the right credentials on paper need to be around our kids, straight up. So it was great when, I and some other people that I met in TFA were in the classroom, particularly because we didn't need to learn to love the kids, or we didn't need to learn to see their greatness. There's a book called We Dare Say Love. And I think it's really profound because when I was getting through that book, I realized people actually have to learn to see the child in a Black child. That's crazy. But it's true, right? So when you're recruiting people that you don't have to teach to love the demographic they're serving, whether they're Black, Latin American, indigenous, whatever community that they're serving, you're better off because they're serving their own, children of their community. You know what I mean? And that's great. And for other folks, they don't have those mental blocks, even if they don't come from those communities. Maybe they don't have the mental block where if the kid talks back, they feel intimidated by the 7-year-old versus if it, and when you recruit those folks that don't have the mental block, it works.
Right.
It's cool. It's all right. So I do have mixed reviews in terms of some of the people I saw in the classroom. I don't think they should have been in the classroom.
Gotcha.
They didn't humanize the children enough. They didn't view them as more than another number in the seat. But I also don't know how much of that has to do with TFA, if I'm honest, versus
the individual. Gotcha.
Well, not even the individual. How adults deal with our kids. Like there are educators that never went through TFA that I also look at like, calm down. It's a child.
Yeah.
You know? So I have had those experiences where I say very frankly TFA needs to improve is directly around the rigidness that you mentioned around what culturally responsive education actually means. What thought leadership they're actually following in this space, their methodology of sending people that are not from communities into communities, a sort of deficit framing of a lot of the students. My students were top 10%. I don't know what you got, at needs, at risk, all the labels put on them. They were brilliant. And there are some students that were even more brilliant because they were bilingual.
Right.
You know, and while they may have struggled sometimes with the English lessons, I'm learning Spanish while they're learning English and we're making it work. Okay. We're making it work. And by the end of the year, they're comfortable. They understand, their talents.
Right.
And so if we meet these communities and make sure that we are not speaking about the children, their abilities, their communities from a deficit framework, then we would be better off. And I have seen in various TFA spaces where people are running in there feeling like a savior or a philanthropist and they need to get it together because they're not.
That to me was is exactly that, where I think the mindset going into it's like these folks we're doing them a big service by presenting some of these programs. Otherwise they won't make it out of here. Otherwise they won't be able to have the type of education that they need and all these other things.
Hey, what up, fam? This is Saul Levy, host of Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. Just a quick reminder for those who've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. You can catch all of our content, including our whiteboard sessions, where you'll find our full-length videos on our channel. And hit that notification bell, fam. All right?